what you need, yeah. Man, I got it, wow.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is a show where we talk about sports with comedians. Let me bring in my man Jason Hayes. Jay, what's happening, bro? How you doing?
Hey, what up, Frank?
Looks like Howie having more, issues. Yeah. Anyway, let's get ready to get this show started, man. Thank you for joining the show, man. I greatly appreciate it. We got a lot of stuff to cover while we wait for the guys to come in. A show with comedians, and the comedians are always late. That's how it be, right? Right, Jay? That's how it be.
Yep, let's go.
All right, so you know how I like to dive in and get stories that everybody else ain't talking about. So we got to do this first, man. So the first thing is I don't know if you even heard about this, but there was a professional cornhole player who was also a quadruple amputee. He fatally shot a passenger in the front seat of a car he was driving, which I don't know how you do that with no arms and legs, but he was driving his car and he had an argument. His name is Dayton James Weber. He's 27. Mm-hmm. He was arrested and charged because he also, once he did the crime, he became a fugitive of justice. The police were looking for him in Virginia, and he was escaped for a couple of days, it looks like. According to his parents, the doctors had amputated his arms and legs when he was 10 months old, and he had contracted a blood infection called sepsis, and he went on becoming a professional cornhole player. A game in which you throw bean bags in a hole and slanted wooden board, that game. Mm-hmm. And he became really, really good at that. But now he's leading a lot of people, to wonder, like, why would he? Because he had this crazy thing about it. ESPN did a special on him because he was one of the best cornhole players in the world, not just the country, in the world. You know what I mean? It had no arms and legs. They did this special not even 3 years ago, and now this is where we are. This is where we are, Jay. What's your take on this, Jay?
My first take was, what's up with all these tinks out here killing people? Remember that Cat Williams joke? Tink.
Yeah, that's why I laughed.
Yeah. Bro, okay, so I heard about this, I think yesterday, because my wife came across a story, and the headline that she read said quadriplegic.
Right.
So when I hear quadriplegic, I'm thinking wheelchair person, right, and their body doesn't work, from like the neck down. That's what I heard about quadriplegic. And then it said shot somebody. I'm like, how's a quadriplegic shoot somebody?
Yeah.
I mean, do they have like a special contraption for their mouth on their wheelchair or something like that? And I was like, all right. So when she showed the picture, I said, okay, no arms, no legs kind of thing. But still, bro, like how are you doing this? Like, how do you rig your gun to work when you ain't got no fingers to pull the triggers? I mean,
hey, Jay, that's not even the question. If somebody is pulling a gun on me and they ain't got no arms or legs, how you not fast enough to move out the way? That's what I'm just like. I ain't trying to be mean.
Pull his arm off. just snatch the arm off. He's holding the gun.
Yeah, like how you not fast enough to move out the way? You know what I mean? Like I was blown away at this, man. Like, how you stand there and wait for somebody to pull the trigger, or
that's wild, bro.
Yeah, that's like, come on, man. I don't know, Jay. I just had a lot of thoughts about that. I wanted to run that by you, and the rest of the guys when the guys come on and just see how what they were thinking, because it's a crazy story to me. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
No, it's a wild story, man. I mean, but it also just goes to like how truly rampant the gun culture is here.
Right.
But if a person's going to figure out, if an armless, legless person is going to figure out how to use a gun, it's probably going to be a person who's figured out how to toss bean bags accurately with no arms and hands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's had to figure out how to manage his life in a multitude of ways at this point. And man, I mean, listen, I mean, clearly dude got anger issues, bro. I mean, hell, he got arms and legs. I mean, I might be angry too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not even mad. Quick side note, Jay, while I'm doing this, can you text Howie the thing when I pull up that next story? All right, so while you're doing that, man, let me just pull up the next story, which I thought was very interesting too, because again, it's something that you don't see normally. A lawsuit was filed today in Pennsylvania court accusing FanDuel and DraftKings of using data supplied by the NFL to offer known addictive product, as well as VIP hosts, and encourage certain people, especially these two plaintiffs, to keep betting, eventually leading to gambling disorders and financial losses. The NFL and its data partner Genius Sports are named defendants in the lawsuit, in addition to FanDuel, DraftKings, and the sportsbook employees who were signed as VIP hosts to plaintiffs Christopher Sage and Terry Thompson. So when these two gentlemen had an addiction, they basically said, we want to file a lawsuit because it's not our fault, it's their fault. You know what I mean? And I thought this was hilarious because, like, you're blaming somebody who's just putting out the content, and now you're saying to us that they at fault. You can't control yourself, so they at fault. That's what we talk about, Jay. That's what we doing.
This is what the whites do. Okay,
like
I ain't even have to you ain't listen. I don't even have to see a picture to know that somebody white did this, because if you don't save them from themselves, then you're responsible for not stopping them from harming themselves. Like, that's very, very true in all walks of life. I mean, think about the opioid crisis. Now, granted, that they're very addictive, but so is crack. Okay? And when black and brown people, were addicted to crack and losing houses and murdering all this stuff, it was on us to be responsible not to smoke crack in the first place. Right? That's what I heard my whole life. So then the opioid crisis breaks out. They get addicted to pills. And instead of, the onus been on them to stop taking the pills, they blame the manufacturer for making too many pills for them to take. Right? So now here we are again. They are addicted to gambling. How dare you make gambling so accessible to me to that I can't stop myself from gambling? You should have stopped me from gambling. Well, they didn't stop me from gambling business. Neither are alcohol manufacturers in the business of stopping alcoholics, right? I mean, they put it out there, and it's up to you to manage yourself, and conduct yourself with moderation. But this is what happens, bro. I mean, like here in New York City, the speed limit about to be 15 miles per hour because people in certain neighborhoods can't teach they dumbass kids how to cross the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, bro. If you're in Crown Heights, you in Bed-Stuy, kids know how to cross the street. But now because somebody, they don't teach their kids, how to cross the street, how to look both ways, how to make sure everything's clear, a kid gets hit, and God, trust me, man, that's awful when that happens. But the onus is not on the rest of the city to protect your kid. You got to be on a swivel and learn how to conduct yourself in the rest of the world without the world catering to you. And that's what this stems from.
I agree with that. So let's just say they move forward, Jay. Let's say this thing moves forward. Do you think that this could go a certain direction if these two plaintiffs win? Because if they happen to win, I could see a class action lawsuit coming down from a lot of people who lost a lot of money. You know what I mean? If
they ain't winning this, bro.
All right.
Specifically because of what you said. Because it opens the door to too many. Listen, most gamblers are degenerates.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? There should be a degenerate gambler on this panel with us right now. He's not here right now because he's probably out gambling. Okay? I'm just saying, bro. It just opens the door for too much stuff. You know what I mean? And how do you... Okay, tell me this. How many casinos have possibly been sued since the age of casinos, where cats went in and lost everything? College funds and all that stuff. I'm sure somebody probably tried to sue. You should have ended my tab. This is no different,
right,
than walking in the casino and gambling on the floor. I don't think any judge is going to let this go past anything, worth talking about, to be honest.
I agree with that 100%, because at the end of the day, this could open up and topple the entire industry if they happen to win. I don't even know how they were able to file the charges, but in this industry that we're in, when all these attorneys feed on that, nothing. You
can file suit about anything, Frank.
Yeah, you sure can. I'm not surprised about any of this stuff. All right, let's talk about the next thing, man. Wow, I'm going through these topics faster than I expected I would. Let me talk about the next thing. The NBA Players Association rebuked the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, over their dispute with Giannis Antetokounmpo, implying that Milwaukee is tanking and damaging the NBA's integrity by wanting to shut him down and for the rest of the season. So this is a situation where the NBA and the Players Association is now stepping in. And if they're going to step in for this situation, this could be toppling to the rest of the NBA with the tanking situation also. But let's first talk about the NBA Players Association stepping in, because Giannis said he wants to play. You know what I mean? And Milwaukee said they want to shut him down. You know, Giannis says he can play. Milwaukee says we want to shut you down. Where are you thinking about this, Jay? What's your thoughts?
I would say, where do the doctors fall on this? Like reputable doctors.
Right.
Because can play is a nebulous term, right? I mean, you know, because can play and should play are two different things.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I mean? So if he can play, you know, because he's not hurting as bad as he was, you know, or he can play a little bit longer than he could, then to me that doesn't make any sense for him to go and play, especially for a team that's playing for nothing. And I don't know why Giannis is trying to force this issue to be out there to go play for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like at some point, the most difficult thing about society today is too many people can't take good advice.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just gotta STFU and just listen to what somebody's telling you to do and weigh the options beyond like what your ego is telling you, you know, or what your personal goals are. Like, I'm sure he's disappointed that he can't play. But sometimes, man, life tell you to sit down, bro. And the team is saying we want you to sit down. So the check ain't coming up short. Most fans, you know, will probably understand. I mean, even Bucks fans like, man, I get that, bro. I mean, why would you go play for a team that's in like 12th place?
Right.
You know, in the East. We're not going anywhere. So I don't know what his issue is in terms of like being unwilling to just sit down and like let his season be over with and focus on rehabbing completely.
Do you think it could be that his contract is, even though I don't see why it would be, I'm gonna still ask the question anyway, but do you think his contract is laden with incentives to certain things that he's got to hit, milestones that he has to hit? Because even though he's such an all-star, you wouldn't put those kind of things in his contract, but maybe it is. Because I mean, you know, we're sitting here trying to figure out, like, why is this man trying to play when you have absolutely nothing to play for? You know what I mean? I'm sitting there thinking about that. What do you think, Jay? I
think that's a good question, Frank. I think that's something that's I mean, you know, we haven't seen his contract. We don't know, I mean, what incentivizations he has in it. But all I know is his guaranteed salary is around $50 million per. Right. And incentives or not, he gonna make that. Right. You know, I just watched him, you know, 20 minutes ago doing a Huggies commercial with his daughter. So I know that check cleared. So it feels like it's something else, you know, like maybe he wants to get a certain number of games in, you know, to qualify for certain awards.
Yeah, maybe it's got,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because
you know how the NBA are now excluding you from like certain, you know, considerations if you don't play X number of games. So maybe that's a factor, and I don't know, but it seems to me like with the games he's missed this season already, he's probably disqualified for most of those things too. So why do you want to come back?
Not only why do you want to come back, why do you want to risk injury? Because I don't care what nobody says, you're not 100%, you know, healthy right now by coming in, and you could re-injure yourself, something that could stretch out even into next season. You know, that's Jay, help me. You know how you be saying some people you got to help them from themselves. You know,
you got to save them from themselves. That's right.
Yeah. Some people you got to save them from yourself, or maybe
and they're trying to, but he won't let them.
Yeah,
they're trying to save him. Yeah, and he won't let them do it.
I don't know, Jay. I'm sitting here looking at this, man. I've read 4 or 5 different stories on this, and then I'm sitting here thinking maybe he might be doing this for the NFL Players Association. Maybe he's doing it as a proponent for that. Is that? I mean, you know more about this law stuff than I do. You think that's a possibility?
I don't know. I mean, you know, as a filmmaker, man, I deal with contracts, so without being privy to, you know, I mean, to the language of the contract, I don't know. Excuse me. I mean, this just feels like he's a prideful person who feels
Yeah.
like he wants to give an honest day's work for honest day's pay kind of thing. But sometimes, man, you got to put that aside. And like I said, on the previous show that we did, discussing this, I said, I hope that somebody like Grant Hill or Penny Hardaway calls him up,
You're right.
to explain to him what happened to their careers when they just did not listen to doctors. They came back too quickly, or played through something or played on something, that they shouldn't have, because it never healed for them. Like Grant Hill, dude, Grant Hill was, you understand how filthy Grant Hill was?
Most definitely. I saw him play myself live.
You know how filthy Penny Hardaway was? And then they got these injuries that were repaired, but they did not do the requisite amount of rehab and rest for it to really be, healed properly. And they messed themselves up and it shortened their careers and took all the stuff away from that they needed, to be the players that they were. Don't do that, Giannis.
Yeah, and the potential of what they could have been. That's the scary part, because you could always sit there and think about the potential of what they, that's
oh my God.
Yeah, especially with Grant Hill, because Grant Hill coming out of Duke, man, I mean, wow. everybody thought this man was the next heir apparent to Jordan, and everybody was thinking even he might have his own lane. I mean, you never know. You sit there and think about it, because I'm sure you saw it too. When he was coming out of Duke, he was a phenomenal basketball player. Right. Even though I hated Duke and I hated them winning all that stuff, he was fine. You couldn't deny what he was doing. You couldn't deny it.
But to me, Penny was filthier.
Yeah, he was,
because Penny was 6'7", pure point guard, and Penny was a better perimeter shooter than Grant.
Yeah,
Grant's first step was ridiculous. He can get to the rim on you in a heartbeat. He can kind of shoot in the mid-range. Penny shot threes. He shot mid-range. He set his teammates up. I mean, to me, Penny is the greatest what-if in NBA history, outside of Len Bias.
Yes, I agree with that statement too. And let's not forget, when Penny's team, the Orlando Magic, toppled the Chicago Bulls and everything else, they probably have been the only team that everybody was looking at to possibly say, okay, look, if they get a couple of players here and there, they have a potential to beat the Bulls, and could have broke that whole thing up. But Penny's injury, all that.
Frank, Penny made the NBA Finals his second year in the NBA.
He sure did.
Second season.
Yeah, he sure.
Him
did.
And Shaq, but Shaq did leave for the Lakers, and so there's that.
Yeah. That stopped the whole thing. All right, so let's talk about this next thing, man. Because we talked, you talked about it briefly, just for about a hot tenth of a second, and I was hoping D Jones is gonna be on here when we had this conversation. But you'll be a witness to say I brought it up. We got to talk about Detroit guard Cade Cunningham's eligibility for his individual honors, such as the spot on the All NBA team. And people are saying right now it's in doubt. Some of it's in doubt because of the 65-game rule. Right now, he's only played 61 games, and if he's got to hit that 65-game mark to be able to be eligible. Here's what the article is saying: the NBA Players Association, which through collective bargaining agreement, agreed that the rule is part of the current agreement between the league and the players, said at a minimum they want to see the rule amended. This is the statement they put out. Cade Cunningham's potential ineligibility and postseason awards after a career-defining season is a clear indictment of the 65-game rule, and yet another example of why it must be abolished or reformed to create an exception for significant injuries, unquote. They make an excellent point, because he is the perfect example for the reason why you should make some type of, some kind of amendments, not saying, in my opinion, Jay, I don't think this should be a blanket thing, but I think you should make exceptions, for certain players who come towards the end of the season and lung collapse. Like, it's not like he even had an injury. His lung collapsed and set him aside for that. Jay, where are you at with this? Do you think the NBA should make an exception for the rule for a player like Cade Cunningham? Because this dude is putting up phenomenal numbers, man. And he literally is definitely in the NBA conversation and the NBA MVP conversation.
Right. Frank, I mean, you know me long enough to know that I'm not a person for any hard, fast rules. Right. Because to make a hard, fast rule, you are saying that we've considered every possibility and it must be this or nothing, because we've considered everything else. And so anything that can happen is covered by this. Right. So we all know that that's impossible and that can't happen. But like I told you last week, when we first heard about the lung collapse, I suspect that a doctor did this.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that this happened to him, getting a medical procedure, getting some kind of injection, and they collapse his lung. Now, people, I have no proof of this. Okay. I'm just saying nobody heard anything about a car accident, pneumonia, a bad fall in practice, a bad fall in the game. Lungs just don't collapse.
Right.
In the last 2 times that we heard about athletes with lung collapses, that being Tyrod Taylor and that being TJ Watt, the doctor did it trying to give them a pain injection. So if he is missing games because of a medical thing beyond what he had anything to do with, then that has to be something where you got to say, all right, that's on us.
Yeah. Not only is it on us, Jay, they need to be able to file a petition as an exemption, or maybe that's not the right word, or maybe something to say that this man should be able to get it because we made the mistake and it wasn't on him. You know what I mean? Maybe something along the lines of that. Maybe that should be. But Jay, that opens up the door too. Is if the doctor did do that, is the doctor liable? Open up the door for a lawsuit? Is the doctor liable for possibly getting fired? I mean, these NBA doctors are not first year, spring chickens either. You know what I mean, Jay?
Right. Well, I mean, unfortunately, because that's what they agreed to, and those are the terms of which the league operates, he's probably going to not be eligible because they're probably going to have to honor whatever the agreement is, because that's what it is right now, rather than open Pandora's box.
Right.
In this instance, without any offsetting language or any exceptions, to the rule.
Well, I'll leave that door open to you because obviously you have more expertise in it myself. Last question on this, and this is what I've been debating certain things on this. If they don't make the change, will this be one of the biggest travesties in the NBA history of a person who's up for the MVP?
Dude, to me, he should be the MVP this season. I mean, people are hyping Luka and all this stuff, and I get it, man. I mean, if you like scoring and he's doing it for the Lakers, in a high-profile situation. But like I told you last week, I don't feel like any one-way player should ever be MVP of the league. And Luka's a one-way player. I mean, he only scores, he cannot defend, and I don't want to hear about that. Cade is great on both ends of the thing, and he took the Pistons, bro. Dude, the Pistons were trash 3 years ago.
Yep. Worst team, one of the worst teams in the league. It sure was.
To the best team in the East, and he's the reason why. So to me, he should be the MVP. And the only other person that I could live with if it's not Cade is Wemby. Because of his dominance on both ends of the floor. But other than that, to me, Cade should be MVP. But if this happens, he can't be eligible for it.
Woo. So I think we'd be looking at one of the biggest travesties in it for ourselves. 100%.
It'd be an asterisk, man, beside any of that.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, okay. Steve just jumped in. What's up, Steve?
Hey, let me say something about the collapsed lung thing. Lungs actually do collapse. I was playing full court basketball in high school at 17 years old. No break in between periods. There was a double period. I got a pain in my chest and my back, and went to my next class from the 2nd floor to the 5th floor. Frank, you know where that is?
Yeah.
I got to the hospital, and they found out I collapsed my lungs. So it can happen. But for these guys, to your point, Jay, look, he may have. I wonder if he was getting the same treatment that TJ Watt got, where they punctured his lung by mistake.
Right.
And so that's all I wanted to say about that. Is it can happen. It happened to me. But in the case of professional athletes, maybe not as much. I'd be curious to find out what the actual root cause was.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it can happen for a professional athlete at all. To be honest with you, that's what if you're trained to breathe a certain kind of way when you're breathing and you're going through certain exercise and stuff like that. If you're not trained like that, I don't see how a collapsed lung happens. I just don't see it.
Their lung capacity is crazy, especially for basketball.
Yeah, right. And you all know this because how many miles a day are they running, Jay? Just on an average. When you play a game of basketball, you know what I mean?
So for basketball, man, like before the season, we had to run 5 miles 4 times a week.
Right.
And then we would sprint, run, then go practice for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that was on the high school level. On the college level, you had to run, like 5 miles, 5-6 miles 4 times, 4 or 5 times a week, all season long. And NBA is even more than that. So, I mean, basketball it's an endurance sport. Right. It's the only sport where where individual play. Well, where every player plays offense and defense like that. Like you're always involved in the mix like that. It's not like football or baseball. I guess hockey and soccer are close, man, but they got certain things that one doesn't do. Everybody does everything in basketball, so there is no time off with that.
It's easy to say that you could run anywhere between 10 to 15 miles a day when you're playing a basketball game. That's easy to say. Easy. And people like Steph Curry, when he's playing, he's probably running 20, 25 because he doesn't stop. He's constantly moving, and he's even worse. You know what I mean? Running, and then maybe his defender who's chasing him is running that same amount too. But Steph is endured to do that. So which brings me to the point I'm trying to say is I don't see how your lung collapses because your lung capacity is, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say anything against what you're saying, Steve. I think what you said is absolutely true. I think that, but you didn't run 15 miles a day. You know what I mean? You weren't running that at all. These guys are running easy 10 to 15 miles a day, and their lung capacity, these guys could jump underwater and hold their breath for 2 minutes easy and not break a sweat. You know what I mean? That's the type of, maybe even 3. I saw Jaylen Brown do his workout. He literally held his breath underwater for 3.5 minutes with no problem, walking with weights.
I believe that. Yeah.
So I don't see how that. But Steve, since you're up there, Steve, what's your thought about this 65 game rule change? Do you think that the NBA should make an exception for Cade Cunningham because of the situation he's in?
I agree with that. I mean, it's not his fault because lung collapse. It's not like he's holding out because of a strained calf or like a maintenance day or whatever. I mean, a serious injury like that, maybe they should make an exception. But you have to make the medical reports public, in my opinion, or make them public, not public, but make them available to the commissioner's office. So that if somebody's sitting with a calf strain, here's the medical report.
Right.
A collapsed lung, like that's, what I'm saying? Like everybody can fake or take a maintenance day and fudge the system right now. But I think if you have to make those reports available to the commissioner's office and let him decide, okay, yeah, Cade, that's an exception. The guy collapsed his lung. It's not his fault. He played 64 games. He missed the last, whatever it is. Those kind of injuries, torn MCL. ACL. What if a guy tears his ACL? It does what if Jason Tatum plays 64 games, tears his Achilles? It's not his fault.
Yeah. But to me, it even makes it even worse if your lung collapses. It's not like you're playing and you get an injury. To me, if your lung collapse, especially if it's the doctor who did it or some outside force, I think that's something that needs to be held, up for a conversation because it's completely outside the player's purview of what happened. Anyway,
well,
but anyways,
and for me though, they get the treatment though. So if they're doing that, that's on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but see, for me, this feels like an exhibit as to why you can't do knee-jerk policy to appease whiny ass fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only reason that they even did this 65 game rule was because people were complaining about dudes doing load management. Right. Or people who they felt like was healthy enough to play wasn't playing. You can't do knee-jerk reactions like that, and implement hard-line policy, that gives you no wiggle room for situations like this. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll tell the fans either go to the game or don't go to the game. Mm-hmm. But you cannot be reactionary to fans who, and most of them complaining, never buy tickets for the arena.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, they're not buying concessions in the building. I mean, they're gonna watch it on TV or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not gonna turn the TV off because such and such isn't playing. Like, I get somebody complaining who's in the building, and they paid $500, man, for like pretty close to courtside seats to see LeBron, and LeBron sitting there in a suit. Well, you still saw him. Okay, but don't do knee jerk, policy, man, based upon fan, discontent.
Well, look who decided to join the show, and right at the perfect time before I even jumped into the Pistons beating the Lakers. We got Detroit Pistons fan and Detroit resident Damian Jones in there. D Jones, we talking about the Cade Cunningham 65 game rule change, possibility. What's your take on this, D Jones?
Well, first of all, let me say I feel attacked earlier when you're talking about gambling. I felt a little attacked.
I ain't say no names.
I mean, we see the
Yeah, it can only be so many people, man. And I was on the phone with my lawyer. We got to get this lawsuit together. Okay? I can't help it. It's in front of me.
You definitely gonna get paid.
Now, with the 65 game rule, I ain't gonna lie. At first, I thought it was a good thing because I was tired of cats just tanking, man. So I was like, man, yeah, I liked it at first. But it should be an exception to the rule because, like y'all said, he's not sitting out just for load management.
Right.
He can't run. He can't fly.
Right.
He can't do anything. He can't swim. So I would like to see him at least get first team. He's not gonna win MVP, but to get first team All NBA so he can get his bread, I would love to see that for Cade. He does deserve consideration for being MVP because, like y'all said, we were the worst team 3 seasons ago. We went from worst to first, and we probably gonna win the whole thing this year. So, just a Finals MVP, beating Boston, beat New York, then Boston to get there in the Finals MVP. I'll be straight. We'll be good.
Here we go with that. So I guess it's we talked about this for a hot second. Let me just talk and start with you with this, man. The Detroit Pistons ended up defeating the Los Angeles Lakers last night without Cade. Literally without Cade. And the great thing about this is they had a gentleman by the name of Dennis Jenkins who dropped 30 on the Lakers last night and ended their 7-game winning streak. D Jones, how you feeling about the Detroit Pistons defeating the Lakers? Okay, he went out. I'll wait till he come back. What's your take on this, Jay?
This is a prime example of why I said Luka Doncic should not be discussed about MVP because he can't guard anybody. So Cade is out there leading scorer, and then another dude comes in and goes off because they can't guard. So as long as they can outscore people, they're fine. But to have like a dude like Luka who everybody knows he doesn't stop anybody. Talk about he's the front runner. I mean, it's just ridiculous to me.
I think so too. D Jones, what's your take on that, bro?
Man, first of all, they almost gave me a heart attack last night. We was up 16, but I knew you got LeBron, you got Luka, they was gonna come back. Dennis Jenkins, straight from the G League, you know what I'm saying? So earlier he was like on a 25-game contract, and he was playing lights out to get on the team. Once he signed that contract, he started becoming a bum again. But then last night just proved, man, when you get that opportunity, you got to take it. And the Lakers don't play no defense. So,
in what position does Dennis Jenkins play?
Point guard.
He's guard. He's a guard.
Yep. And they put Reeves on him, and he don't play no defense.
He don't play no D either. So you got to do. I pulled the stats up, DJ. I'm sorry. Jenkins is averaging 8.3 points a game this season. He dropped 30 on the Lakers last night.
Yeah,
30. Yeah,
no defense. But he hit 2-game winners this season. So he's been balling for us, cool off the bench. We missed 3 players last night. Don't forget Isaiah Stewart, one of our best defenders. He's gone as well. So they just balled out last night, and I think good coaching. I think we got the coach of the year.
Yeah,
hands down, a coach of the year for him for sure.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. What's your take on this, Steve? Where you at with the Pistons defeating the Lakers and snapping a 7-game winning streak?
So first of all,
9 games.
9 games. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I didn't see the game last night because I was at wrestling at TD Garden, so I can't speak to the game itself. But Detroit has had some spurts where they've missed multiple guys and still won. So I agree with what D. Jones said. The coach is doing a phenomenal job. And sometimes when players get their opportunities, they take advantage. And you can look at the Celtics too without Jason Tatum, the season that they're having. I just think that sometimes guys can pick up with their opportunity when they get it, and the coaching staff's done a good job. So Detroit, listen, this is not the first time they've missed top guys in their lineup and still won games. So kudos to them.
I just got a text. Actually, I just got a text saying the NFL is to consider rule proposals in case of referee work stoppage amid tense collective bargaining negotiations. And looks like that there's a possibility of stopping some of the games or slowing some of the games down. We're gonna definitely dive into more of this tomorrow after I read a couple of these news articles.
Right. But Frank, one more thing before we move off of this.
Okay.
I just pulled the stats up from last night, with the Pistons Lakers. Luka, you're going to see he scored 32 points, right? And people are going to focus on 32 points. But he got 32 points on 29 shots. He was 11 of 29. Meanwhile, the dude he was guarding, Jenkins, got 30 points, 2 points less than him, and he got his on 11 of 18 shooting.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. That makes your case. That makes your case right there. You'd win a court argument with that right then and there.
But Jay, your man didn't score in the first half either. That was kind of huge.
Yeah, but I ain't talking about
not
him.
to put up a point in the first half.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, that other dude that other dude got to ice his elbow after every game.
Yeah,
Because
you're right.
he putting that thing up, man.
You're right.
Yes, he is. And this is for you, D Jones. This is for you, D Jones. I'm gonna let you go first. The Celtics lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves night before last without Ant, and they are now a half a game above New York Knicks as everybody's fighting for that second seed. D Jones, I know you love this part because now, obviously a loss, is a loss for the Celtics and they're not up on the Detroit Pistons behind because people were concerned about the Celtics, obviously infringing on that number one seed. There's only 15 games left. What's your take on this, D Jones?
I mean, I was shocked because they ain't had Anthony Edwards. So I thought y'all would kind of dog walk Minnesota, but Minnesota's been playing pretty good basketball. Yeah, I think we played them twice in the next week. And so we got Atlanta, we got Minnesota, we got some hot teams coming up. So it's not it might come down to the last 2 or 3 games, man, but any loss y'all get and win we get is very, very good for us to maintain this first place because I want to see the Pistons have home field advantage through the playoffs, man. That we haven't had that in 20 years, you know what I'm saying? So I think if we had New York last year at home, we would have won.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. I'll say this too. People are blaming the Celtics for overlooking this game and circling OKC because their next game is against OKC. You know what I mean?
That's tonight, right?
Yeah, it's tonight. So I think it's tonight. I'm gonna have Steve check that out.
Yeah, because I know a degenerate gambler who checked it earlier.
Yeah. I'm not saying no names of who it could be, but I rely on that degenerate gambler to tell me when the next game. It's definitely the next game.
Yeah. You say when? Oh, he said it's tonight.
Oh, okay. It's tonight. Yeah. But I think that could be a cause of overlooking one team and everything else. But still, a loss is a loss. Let me ask you, Jay, what's your take on the Celtics losing to Minnesota Timberwolves without Ant-Man?
It just lets you know how tough it is to win in the NBA. If the best player isn't playing, that doesn't necessarily mean that the team's going to lose because, people don't know this. NBA players, they all are assigned roles. And because Ant takes the bulk of the shots and does the bulk of the scoring, doesn't mean that other people on that team aren't capable of scoring. That's not their role on the team. That's Ant's role. So if Ant gets removed, they got another legitimate dude who can fill it up, in most cases, then that's going to happen, but then a lot of times it's a letdown, by the other team, all Ant in there. So maybe they ain't as motivated to play. And then, you get smacked.
Yeah, I gotta say, Jay, that everything you just said sounds exactly what I was saying to you when the Celtics lost Jason Tatum. Almost the same thing, because that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Teams overlook you, and your best player ain't playing. They overlook you. Steve, what's your take on the Celtics losing to Minnesota the night before last?
First of all, they're playing the Thunder tomorrow night, not tonight.
Oh, okay.
I just looked.
Game was wrong. Okay.
That's all right. Just to make sure everybody doesn't go look for it later. You're not going to find it. Listen, I watched the majority of that game, and Frank, on our show, you know how I have to have the rant about them shooting the effing threes. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
But they were 9 for 33, 27%. Anytime they do that and they don't shoot 35, 38%, they're going to lose. And one of the things that frustrates me the most, and we've been over this 1,000 times over the last 3 years, is that they get the offensive rebound, they kick it out immediately, and the guy just jacks it up, and they miss. And they do a ton of that, and it really frustrates the hell out of me. I'm not saying that's the only reason they lost, but when the threes don't go in, they can't win. And you know something else, too? I've noticed for them over the last few years, since they won the title, they have having a hard time winning at home. Their road record is better than their home record. They need to rectify that. So
the problem
my takeaway is they shouldn't lose to a team that doesn't have their best player, but we just saw with Detroit without their best player. So, they need to win these games.
The Celtics were up by 7 or 8 in the third quarter, and then went on 11 consecutive threes, shooting 11 consecutive threes, and missed all of those. All right, D. Jones, let me ask you guys. Let me ask you this question, D. Jones. If we're talking about Victor Wembanyama literally said last night. Actually, before I even get to that story, let me talk about this Paul George story first. Paul George basically declined to get into specific of a failed drug test that landed him on 25-game suspension, but he says he is mentally and physically ready to help the Sixers. But he was saying that his issues on why he got the drug and he was taking the drugs and everything else, the issue was mental health. He literally came out, he did an apology to the team and everything else, and he's getting ready to play now in the last couple of games with the Sixers. I guess, D. Jones, are you tired of Paul George, letting down the Philadelphia 76ers? Because this ain't the first time he said mental health is an issue. What's your take, D. Jones?
Well, soon the playoffs will be here, and we won't have to worry about Paul George. He don't show up in the playoffs anyway. I don't know if he's taking steroids to help his brain, but I mean, he's been injured a lot, and I can see somebody taking some stuff to try to get back to where they was. His body kind of deteriorates. So, I'm not sick of Paul George because, like I said, in the playoffs, we ain't gonna see him.
Ooh, that's Jay. You hear that? What he said? That's ugly, though. That's ugly what he said. But he's right, though. He's right.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Philadelphia, they're the Philadelphia 76ers, man. And if they make the playoffs, I don't see them doing much damage unless Embiid, can, go to that Steve Austin lab and and they rebuild him as a $6 million man or something. But in terms of mental health, let's say that it is mental health, and he just didn't want to disclose that. I don't think that this country takes that seriously enough. I mean, I come from a family, man, where clinical depression is a real thing. I mean, like I've had family members institutionalized for depression. So, and I've actually battled depression, in my own life, in a real way. And that's something that never ends. It's not like you break your leg and then once it heals up, it's back to normal. That's just not how mental health works. So I'm sure the ups and downs of being an athlete, like D. Jones said, the injuries, I mean, that's taxing in and of itself. Social media, everybody bashing him, and these are big dudes, man. Paul George, I mean, he's like 6'10". I mean, this is a big guy, who's having a lot of injuries. He's later in his career, he's older. So maybe it could have been an accumulation of all those things that led him to say, I got to take a break because I can't deal. And that's a really mature thing to do if that's what happened.
Steve, what's your take?
I agree with Jay. I think that now, more than ever, more needs to be paid attention to mental health. People are taking their own lives. They're using painkillers to cope. And I'm not speaking for him specifically what he took or whatever. I'm just saying there's people that they they take painkillers to cope with pain when they hurt, or they get depressed and so on and so forth. And all the league really needs to do a better job, and just health in general for the public. Everybody just needs to not poo-poo it as much, and try to do a better job. So if he did, and he apologized, I mean, he knew what he was doing and did the right thing by, stepping away and trying to take care of himself. It's not worth it. It doesn't matter if you're a mega millionaire or superstar or whatever. Everybody's got issues, and so they should cope with it as best they can and get help and get treatment, because the worst thing is when they don't feel they can be helped, or that there is no help, or there's no one there.
Right.
And so, I kind of, kudos to him for trying to find the right help.
So that leads me to you, D. Jones. I mentioned the story just a hot second ago, and I want to jump back into it. People are making a case for Victor Wembanyama to be the NBA MVP. He made it clear himself that he wants to be the NBA MVP. He said, I think now there is a debate. There should be, even though I think I should lead the race. I'm trying to make sure that at the end of the season, there's no debate. Meanwhile, he's averaging 24.3 points, 11.2 rebounds, 3.0 assists, and 3 blocks. You know what I mean? Let's not forget, he won last night too. So he beat the Miami Heat 136 to 111, the San Antonio Spurs. Where are you at with Victor Wembanyama for the NBA MVP? Is he the leading front runner to you, D. Jones?
I mean, right now, I think it's between him and SGA. I don't see either one of them leading, because I think it's going to come down to that last game, bro. You know how they do the scoring championships, and sometimes it be tied, and whoever get the most points that last game win the scoring championship. This is going to come down to the last 2 weeks of who performed the best. And Jay said earlier it should be Cade, but he hurt, so it's not gonna happen. So between them two and maybe Joker, because Joker putting up some crazy numbers too, man, like insane. So to me, those are top 3. I still think if Tatum wouldn't have came back, I'm saying Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown he been amazing, outstanding, unstoppable. So I'm not mad at whoever. If Victor win the MVP, I'm not gonna be. He deserve it. I think they all kind of deserve it. So be mad at whoever win. I'm impressed by his skill set, but when he dunk or block somebody, I'd be like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do.
you 7'13".
Yeah, like he be dunking on people like like he Spud Webb, bro. You taller than everybody, dog. That's not impressive to me, but his skill set is ridiculous.
What you think, Jay? Where you at with that?
So you said that people think that Wembanyama, should be the MVP.
That's he's the leading candidate for MVP right now.
Well, Jason Hayes is people. I am people. Because understand this, man. It blows my mind. Like he's younger than my daughter. And my daughter just graduated college in May of last year. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that like he's come here from another country, he's handled all that pressure. And San Antonio was trash. How you think they had the number 1 pick, to get him in the first place?
They cheated.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I think San Antonio is probably why we got the 65 game no tanking thing. Right? But no, I mean, he's so dominant on both ends of the court to that you could probably name him MVP any given year from this year moving forward. But to me, I think he deserves it because it's a young team winning. Like that's how dominant he is. I mean, name the vet. Like the for real vet, that's playing for San Antonio right now. De'Aaron Fox probably the oldest player they got, and he's like 24 or 25 himself.
I think it's the guy.
Barnes got grandkids.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think Harrison Barnes is still.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Harrison Barnes. Yeah. But I mean, how much is he really doing for them though? You know what I'm saying? Like all the plays are being made, by Castle and Vassell and Ron Harper's sons balling as a rookie. So to me, I'm with D Jones. If it's Wemby, if it's Cade, if it's SGA, or if it's Joker, I have no problem with either one of those people winning. If it's Luka Doncic, burn down the MVP because it doesn't mean anything.
Now, Howie Bell ended up joining us for the last few minutes. Howie Bell, how you doing, sir?
Hey man, I'm good, man. How y'all brothers doing? What's happening?
All right,
What
we are
Chilling.
we are discussing the Victor Wembanyama leading the NBA MVP conversation. Where you at with this, Howie Bell?
Yeah, man. I don't know why he wouldn't. He's phenomenal, and I was listening to you guys. D Jones, yeah, he's a tall guy, and that kind of makes it easy. But it's hard to hate on this dude. He's doing too much on both ends of the floor. And he can shoot threes too.
Right.
And
Agile.
it's amazing what he's doing. He's so athletic combined with that height that I think that makes him extra special. He has to win the MVP. I don't see who else would win over him.
No, I ain't hate on him. He's skillful. I just said I'm not impressed when he dunk on nobody like that.
Well, it's a tall guy dunking, yeah, but
He got the Nerf hoop.
I'm just not impressed because he's so tall that you should be able to dunk on people and you should be able to shoot.
But you know what? On the flip side of that, there was a guy named Chuck Nevitt who played for the Detroit Pistons. He played for a few other teams too, but he was like dumb tall. I can't even remember how tall Chuck Nevitt was, but he couldn't do any of that. So just because he could barely dunk. So just because you're so tall doesn't mean that you automatically come with the skill set to be able to dunk the ball or block or anything.
He's freaky athletic, man.
He's skillful in the mud. Like
I don't know if y'all remember Chuck Nevitt.
If he
I remember the name Chuck Nevitt.
He'll be skillful.
I remember. But this is what
he moves better than like Joe Barry Carroll. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about George Mirasan.
Yeah.
Sean Bradley.
Yeah, he grew so fast too. Because he grew so fast, he was playing like he was a smaller guy anyway. But then he had that growth spurt, and he still kept the same, his same
athleticism.
He kept all of that. So now you got a guy who's tall, who's short, who played like he's tall, and now he's tall. Same thing happened with Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo used to be a guard. You know what I mean? He used to play handle and everything else, and then he had his growth spurt. So
Davis too.
Yeah, exactly.
David Robinson.
Yeah. You go down the list. Let me see what Steve got. Steve, give me 30 seconds on this. Give me your thoughts.
Listen, they played the Celtics a week or two ago. That dude is just plain sick. 8 of 16 from 3. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
He's just I think it's D Jones calls him a cheat code. He's just phenomenal, and I was really, really impressed with him watching that game, and so he should be in the running for the MVP. I still think it's Jaylen Brown. I'm biased, obviously, watching him every night, but he's really stepped up. But Victor Wembanyama, if he wins it, no one's going to be upset. And if they are, then go jump off a bridge or something. I don't know. You
Honestly, I was all for Jaylen Brown until Tatum came back. Because when Tatum came back, his numbers started shrinking down. And everything else, he still is dominant, but he's not getting the ball as much to be able to be that that MVP type of guy. You know what I mean? Because he's deferring the ball. So he's falling out of the conversation in the last couple of games. So. Yeah, I have to fall back a little bit on that. And if I had to crown somebody, I'm gonna say this: if I had to crown somebody right now MVP, I got to give it to Wembanyama. I have no choice. I'd have to give it to Wembanyama.
Hey, Frank.
Yes.
Hey Frank. Somewhere in France, Victor Wembanyama's spaceship is hidden underground somewhere.
You ain't lying.
He ain't human, bro.
You ain't lying. D Jones, you gonna go first, and then I'm gonna bring in Howie. Let me ask you this: if AJ Batista is drafted by the Indiana Pacers, right? And he joins Pascal Siakam with the Indiana Pacers. Is that tandem better than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? You got 30 seconds.
No.
Okay. All right. He said it in less than 30 seconds. He said no, not better at all. Howie Bell, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown versus Pascal Siakam and AJ Batista. Which one do you like better?
No, I still like Tatum and Brown right now. I mean, this guy's just coming out of college, so you know what I mean? I'm not going to give him that at all. Not even going to put him on that level. You know what I'm saying? So
ask about Halliburton.
Yeah. Halliburton's dope.
He can't go left, man. He ain't in the conversation.
Yeah, but the reason why I wanted to make this conversation up, Jay, and I'm sure Jay will understand my point is you got two wing players who both are long and lanky. They both are skilled. They both are tall. They both can go right or left. They both could. No one would be able to stop AJ Batista when he goes to the basket left or right and everything else. And honestly, he has better ball handling skill than Jaylen Brown. He really does. So I'm gonna ask you, Jay, same thing. If you had those two versus those other two, is it that much a difference? Is it the same? Who you like better right now?
Right now, it's Tatum and Brown because they've proven it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm projecting, like down the road, if AJ is what we think he is, and I think that he is, then it's gonna be him and Siakam because Siakam's unguardable, bro. I mean, ain't nobody guarding that dude one-on-one. And if AJ can come in and do that too, then they're gonna be a real problem for people.
And honestly, that's the way I look at it. I don't know how you look at it, Steve. You got 30 seconds. I don't know how you look at it, Steve. But at the end of the day, they could be literally the next coming of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, except they might get a little bit better because Batista is a little taller. He's just as athletic. You know, it's all that. What you think? What you think, Steve?
He would have to come in the same way as like a Wemby or somebody like that for them to uncrown Tatum and Brown. I mean, Tatum and Brown have been together for 7-8 years now. They've had a long playoff run. They've won a championship. I think you're talking probably 2 or 3 years from now before they could be better than them. That's where I'm at with it.
Right. All right. So now, looking at the time, the show's getting ready to wrap this thing up. Howie Bell joined us late. Howie, tell me what you got going on, bro. What's going on in your world and where you at?
I don't know. Obviously, I got no Wi-Fi. I don't know why I ain't getting no text messages or nothing. I don't know what
Detroit.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, what is going on? I'm sending a million texts. But no, man, everything is good, man. I'm on my way to New York City. Hopefully everything is cool with TSA and ICE won't mess with me when I get to the airport. But you know, I got to head there.
You should be fine. You don't speak no Spanish.
Shit, I ain't playing them kind of games. I'm carrying my passport. I don't care. I don't give a damn.
It's not that bad here, though. Yeah. Especially at JFK because everybody got their own individual building. So everybody got their own individual TSA.
Well, I'm flying into LaGuardia. So,
yeah. Hey, good luck there, Playboy.
And then I'm out of LaGuardia to Chicago when I leave there. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck there, Howie Bell. How can we follow you, bro?
Howie Bizzell, HOWIEBIZZELL. We got the All Women Show. Come down 144 Bleecker Street this Saturday.
There it is. D Jones. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
313 D Jones. Friday, I got a late night comedy show called Talk Yo Ish. It starts at 10 o'clock at night. Saturday, I'll be in Elkhart, Indiana. One, the best tandem in basketball is Cade and Dern. 2, I know a degenerate gambler who put like $10 on Wemby to win MVP a month ago. So there's that. That means he might not win.
That means he's not going to get it.
I'm sorry. I forgot to even ask.
Damn, Wemby, he had a shot, bro, until that happened.
I'm sorry I skipped you, D Jones. I didn't even mean. I just realized I did. I didn't even mean to, bro. Jason, tell me, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Follow me at JD Hayes at Fanbase. So I guess I'm gonna be out here, trying to holler at Howard this weekend, for the show on Bleecker. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'll be praying for D Jones to make it back from Clanville down in Indiana.
You got right about that one. You got right about that one. White Chocolate, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, follow me and Frank on Boston Straight Shooters on Facebook and YouTube.
Name of the show is called Box Seats. We will be back tomorrow, Wednesday. We're going to be discussing more of these topics. We still didn't even hit some of these NFL because a lot of stuff dropped today about the NFL with some major signings. We didn't even get a chance to do that. And we didn't talk about this Max Crosby news that just dropped. So we got some of that to talk about. We got some more NFL news that dropped while we were doing this show. We're going to talk about that. A lot of that stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow. Name of the show is called Box Seats. Thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
What you need, yeah? Man, I got it, wow. What you say, hey? We about it,
Thanks, guys. I